Good morning. So I am Mike from Sen Golf, and the goal here is pretty simple. Every day I'm on the range, I encounter people practicing and they don't have a clue what they're actually practicing. So the first step here is to understand that there's three different types of short game shots. So most of the time when I talk to somebody, I say, how's your short game? And they say, I'm good at chipping. And I say, how's everything else? And they don't understand. So the short game is actually three distinct types of shot. You've got a chip, which is a hands forward pressed motion that comes through, still locked, still straight. It imparts spin on the ball. The second is a pitch, where instead of being pressed, we're in a neutral position with softer hands, and it imparts almost no spin on the ball. The third is a lob or a flop, which can be accomplished two different ways. Hands forward, same motion, sliding through with a lofted club, or a more lofted club with the toe down, same motion. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over all three of these shots, how to practice, and how they're going to help your game. So stay tuned. Okay, so the first shot that you're going to need to break anywhere from 90 to 70 is going to be the pitch. The pitch is the primary shot you're going to hit around the green. It doesn't require you to estimate your spin, estimate your flight. It doesn't really require you to do anything except take a neutral swing on the ball. So the pitch is basically the same way that you would pitch a softball. You're going to just toss the ball onto the green with a neutral grip and get it rolling. So instead of pressing, which we're going to do in every other shot in golf, we're going to be a little more neutral. We're going to take a putting stance and we're going to sort of roll our shoulders in a putting stroke while still maintaining a shallow course and just bump the ball to the hole. Dead hands, straight bump. Now this ball will actually release every single time in almost the same fashion. So bump, and it releases to almost the same place every time. Our goal here is to not have to guess at how much spin I'm going to put on the ball. Now this is a synthetic green. We're at Larry's DS-Plex. This green will not bite, but I can see, because I use the Tour Divide balls, that I'm getting no spin on the ball. Again, nice and level through, no action in the hands, let it release. Now, as you can see, we are back behind the green. And again, we're going to work on this pitch shot. This is the first and primary shot you need around the green if you want to break into the 80s. So again, we're going to take a neutral grip. We're not going to press. It's going to be a neutral grip, and we're just going to swing. This ball will come off consistently. A medium height with almost no check, and it will roll very consistent. The reason this shot is so important is we're going to use this stroke to gauge how far to hit the ball. Whether I make a good stroke on the ball or not, the ball is going to come out almost the same speed, carry almost the same distance, and have almost the same results. So I can get up and down, even with a fat shot, and still have a ball relatively close to the hole. Why is the pitch so important? Why is this our primary shot? So to understand why this is the primary shot, I want you to go to the alignment stick for the club face so you can understand how it sits on the ground and how it flies off the face. For this video, we're going to be very succinct. The reason this is the most effective shot is because of consistency. I'm not trying to impart spin on the ball. So therefore, if I don't hit it pure, I still get a result similar to what I'm attempting to do. With a chip shot, which has spin and it's everybody's delusional dream to be able to chip a ball onto the green and have it one hop stop, it's not effective and it's not useful unless you have to carry a section of the green or carry some terrain that you don't want to land in. That's when you need to impart spin. On a basic chip where you can read the green like a putt and where you would like to putt, the pitch actually gives you an opportunity to roll the ball to the hole and get your one putt. So neutral, I'm taking a neutral stance on the ball. I'm having loose, dead hands, and I'm just going to flow through the ball. And this ball, every time I touch it, is going to come off in the same fashion and have roughly the same amount of action and the same amount of roll. Again, this is because I'm not attempting to impart spin. The only spin on the ball is the ball rolling up the club face. And even when I make poor contact, like that, I still get a result that gets me into the hole. Once I get a little better, so I have my distance and I understand how it's going to come off, I can be aggressive and try to make it. The next shot in the series is the chip shot. So when someone says they're chipping, that typically means we're going to get into a ball striking position, which the ball striking position that we really promote at Send is the press. That's why you just press send. All we're going to do is press our hands forward and send the ball to the hole. If you were to see from behind, there is no braking, no pushing, no popping. There's no fancy hip turning like a lot of these videos promote because you simply don't need it. And I'll explain that in my Iron Mike video. The next shot in the series is the chip shot. So when someone says they're chipping, that typically means we're going to get into a ball striking position, which the ball striking position that we really promote at Send is the press. That's why you just press send. All we're going to do is press our hands forward and send the ball to the hole. If you were to see from behind, there is no braking, no pushing, no popping. There's no fancy hip turning like a lot of these videos promote because you simply don't need it. And I'll explain that in my Iron Mike video. So the chip begins with a forward press and a distinct chop on the ball. And the goal here is to impart spin and cause the ball to slow down prematurely. So that ball comes out hot, and depending on the conditions, is not necessarily a great shot. You can get it close to the hole, but it's going to rely on the strike being much more precise than a pitch. Now these balls are coming out and they're a little further away than the pitch. However, this would be a situational shot. I need to stay low, I need to carry onto the green, and I want it to check and barely release. That's when you use your chip shot. So again, hands forward, not neutral like the pitch, hands forward. Take the club back slow and smooth and pinch the ball. There's no wrist action, only a shoulder hinge, and at this distance, I don't need to use my legs. So that's the chip. Now the third shot we're gonna go over in this little series is the lob or the flop. Now, this is the only time that I really use a 56. Typically, everything I chip with is a 50 or below. So in the previous examples, I was using my pitching wedge because my pitching wedge comes off of my hand the way my brain tells me to toss it. For you, it could be a totally different club. It could be a 9, it could be a 50, it could be a 52. For me with a pitch, it's exactly like I would throw the ball onto the green and my brain resonates with that thought. So that's why we use that club. This club, however, is a 56. The goal here is going to be to come through. I'm going to rotate around the ball with my feet, and I'm going to open the club to the hole and press slightly. And now I'm going to slide through in a low contact. The goal here is to make the ball come up softer, land further on, and stop at the hole. Now this shot flies higher and softer, but it has a much higher degree of difficulty. So this is a shot that you use when you need it for a specific action. I need to carry a bunker or get onto the green high and make it sit. This pressed chip flop, which flies high off the toe, can later be turned into a full flop shot by changing from a chip action to a swing action. Still low, still pressing, that'll send the ball at the same trajectory, which is roughly here, but very high in the air. That's the flip, the flop, or the 56 pitch toe down. So now you've seen the three primary shots around the green, which consist of a pitch, which is a neutral hand putting stroke that the contact is not near as important and it's much easier to get the ball close to the hole consistently. The chip, which is hands forward, imparting spin, which will allow you to check the ball and stop the ball near the hole, but raises the difficulty while it raises the reward. And then the flop, which is still hands forward, but it requires you to slide under the ball, which is the most difficult of the three shots. So from here, I'm going to grab a pitching wedge and I'm going to hit all of the shots in succession so you can get an idea of how it's going to work on the course. The pitch is going to be dead hands through the ball. The ball will come out with very little spin, very little check. It'll be very consistent to the hole. The chip shot, I'm going to press my hands forward. I'm going to chip the ball, striking the ball first, pinching it, causing spin, and raising the difficulty. The last shot is going to be the flip, the toe down, the flop, whatever you'd like to call it, but it's a higher, softer shot. So I'm going to play the ball in the front, rotate around, open the club, and I'm going to play with the toe down and let the ball ride up the club for a softer landing and a little further flight. Most people's mistake is that they're caught between the two shots. So they get caught between a pitch and a chip. So they get an idea of where they want the ball to go onto the green. They are not quite sure what this is going to do, so they pitch and chip at the same time. They keep their hands moderately neutral with a little forward. They do a little bit of twisting. They're sort of in the middle. The best thing to do is to set up for your pitch, keep everything nice and smooth and neutral, soft hands, and pitch the ball to the hole. That's a short game. Get out there, press your hands, send.